Yes, y'all. From the new Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show that's ready for some playoffs. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She's the Dutch of the Dorks, Miss 305, well rested, had nothing to do this weekend. She's sitting around, watching football. She's Ashley Pickle.
That's, precise play-by-play of my weekend there. Howdy. Happy playoffs, everyone.
Happy playoffs. This is...
Grev.
Oh. Greg Powers. Does that not work?
It's not working.
The headphones.
That's all right.
We'll fix them. Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here. And whenever Powers is here, it's always special.
I could hear Pickle. She was so hype I could hear. I didn't even need my headphones.
There you go. I am here to tell you that when Powers is here, it's always special. But today, it's extra special because it's the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Today Playoff Prediction Show. That's right. The exclusive unveiling of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football staff's
We're doing the Outsiders thing.
Playoff Prediction. Yeah. I'm Scott Hall.
You can be... Okay, I'll be Kevin Nash.
Yeah, that's
fine.
Today...
I'm still alive.
Today is Monday, November 11th, 2024, 17 days until Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to... Does anybody have a birthday on November 11th? Wow. Not all at once, guys. Today is the birthday of Leonardo DiCaprio.
There you go.
Happy birthday, Leonardo DiCaprio. Caprio. It's also Stanley Tucci's birthday. It's episode 1815, I believe.
Yes.
On today's show, folks, as we mentioned, it's the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Today Playoff Bracket Reveal Show. We do, first of all, want to tell you guys thanks for tuning in to our show on Saturday night.
That was a lot of fun.
The Bracket Reveal Show. The people liked it. The early returns are very positive.
It was a lot of wacky craziness late at night.
It was a lot of wacky craziness late at night. But it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. We reveal the brackets. You can go to texasfootball.com/playoffs to download your brackets. Get everything you need for the 2024 Texas High School Football playoffs at texasfootball.com/playoffs. So we tried something new. We revealed the brackets on Saturday night. And now we've spent the last 48 hours, really diving in. Getting in the lab. I don't know about you, but I had spreadsheets. I had cork boards.
You had your DCTF printable bracket.
A printable bracket, all that stuff, to get ready for our playoff predictions. Because I want to make sure we get this right. And we're not going to. But that's the great thing.
Well, not 100% of us are going to get it right.
No.
The picks are probably too varied.
And this is worth mentioning. You have not seen the predictions.
No.
Pickle, I sent you the graphics only to load them in.
Yes.
But have you taken a look and studied them?
I gave him the glance over.
Okay.
I can't say that I can tell you exactly who Powers picked off the top of my head, but I did look at them.
I will just tell you, I'm interested to hear y'all's reactions to this. So it is our playoff bracket, our playoff prediction show here on Texas Football Today. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was jersey number 69, Big Jiggly Water Balloons, Joey Hill, and TJ Hudson. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending this very special Monday with us. So here's how this whole thing is going to work. We are going to unveil the Dave Campbell's Texas football staff's predictions for all 12 UIL Texas high school football playoff brackets. That's right. Now we're going to go smallest to largest, 1A Division II, all the way up to 6A Division I. We went largest to smallest on the bracket reveal on Saturday, but we will do smallest to largest here on the playoff prediction show here on Texas Football Today. Of course, remember, texasfootball.com/playoffs is where you can find complete coverage of the 2024 Texas High School Football playoffs, brackets, pairings, everything you need, and soon to be predictions, plus sleepers, all sorts of good stuff at texasfootball.com/playoffs. Go and bookmark it. I don't know if people bookmark things anymore on their various platforms, but let's start rolling out our playoff predictions. Starting, we'll wait for a second. We're fiddling with some things around here. TexasFootball.com/playoffs. And a reminder, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. This is the best time to do it because you get Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming platform. Hundreds of live Texas high school football playoff games. That's right. Starting this week, playoff games every single week at Texan Live. If you go become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber, TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift as well. Thanksgiving is just 17 days away. If your friends already have a large inflatable yard turkey, then you can get them a subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football so that they can watch Texas high school football playoffs all throughout this holiday season. So, pot right? Okay. Let's wheel them around. We'll start our playoff prediction show with the smallest classification, 1A Division II. Now, a reminder that we employ a number of our friends from outside of Dave Campbell's Texas Football to do the six-man playoff predictions, including our friend Bobby Brown from Texas1AFan.com, Lehman Saunders, longtime six-man guru, and Craig Sperry from Press Pass Sports. Region 1, we are in alignment. Actually, a lot of alignment here. Region 1, we're all going with Klondike, which is interesting because Klondike's got an ugly record. But Dalton DeGraff and Reed's squad went through a very difficult non-district schedule. They are the favorites there. Region 2, we're all going with Jayton to win Region 2 of 1A Division 2. Region 3, we're rocking a little split. I'm going with the Dragons of Iredell. I like that Iredell squad. I think they've played exceptionally well. Lehman, so is Bobby Brown. Lehman, Saunders, and Craig Sperry are going with Strawn. Of course, it's hard to go against the great Dwayne Lee, what they've been able to do there. And then in Region 4, another split. Three of us are going with Oglesby, Kyler Fawcett and company, going up against Richland Springs at Lehman Saunders taking on Richland Springs. I will tell you that Richland Springs, to me, is the reason I went with Oglesby over Richland Springs. I think Oglesby is more battle-tested, and they've got the single individual best playmaker in Kyler Fawcett. That, to me, was the difference. But all four of us are in lockstep. We like the Jayton Jaybirds to bring home the 1A Division II state championship. That's 1A Division II. We'll go to 1A Division I now. 1A Division I, a lot of chalk with the exception of one brave soul, our friend Bobby. Region 1, we all like Whiteface. The Antelopes, undefeated through the regular season. They look like the clear favorite there in Region 1. I think they are the team to beat. Region 2, I'm going with Westbrook, so is Craig and Lehman. Westbrook has played in the last three state championship games at 1A Division I. But Bobby Brown going with Water Valley. Water Valley, a bit of an upset there, but that is a good Water Valley team. I think the clear threat to them in Region 2. Region 3, we're all going with Abbott. I think we're all really impressed with what they did to Aquila, previously unbeaten Aquila, in their Week 11 showdown, although Abbott could be heading for a battle of unbeatens with Avalon in the second round of the playoffs. And then in Region 4, we're all going with Gordon. And it's interesting that we're all going with Gordon because I think that is the toughest region. Gordon plays May in the first round of the playoffs. That's 10-0 versus 9-1 in the first round of the playoffs. Then in the regional final, they'll probably have to go through a team like Jonesboro, but Gordon does look like the clear team to beat in 1A Division I, and all of us are going with Gordon to win the state championship as well. There it is, our 1A Division I predictions from myself and some of our six-man friends from across the state of Texas. From six-man, we matriculate to our first 11-man bracket, 2A Division II. And here we go. There are our playoff predictions for 2A Division II. All y'all fools. So we're getting predictions, by the way, from Mallory Hartley, Ishmael Johnson, Ashley Pickle, Greg Powers, Matt Stepp, and myself. All y'all went with Groover to win Region 1. And I don't know, I guess they're okay. They didn't go 10-0. I'm going to zig when they zag. I like Wink. I think they've reloaded in a hurry. I think Kamid Fasciani, their running back, gives them a different element. I like Wink to win Region 1, but I think you're certainly within your rights to go with Groover to win Region 1. Region 2 is where things get interesting. Powers, you are going with
I'm running it back.
Two-time defending state champs in Albany.
Yep, I'm going to run it back.
With Denny Faith at the helm. They took some early losses, but I do feel like they're playing better as a
down the stretch. They're playing really well.
Yeah, that's and certainly something to be said about that. And they do have the champion's advantage. They can win by they retain the title on count out or disqualification.
They have to be beat. They have to be beaten.
Absolutely,
right?
They have to be pinned or submitted. But the rest of us are going with Munster.
Yeah, for me, it was and this is crazy, but it was the narrow loss to Pottsboro that really, and that was pretty early on in the season too, but that really turned the dial for me. I think Case Carney has been absolutely exceptional, and I think that this Munster offensive line can go up against anybody in 2A Division II. The fact that they could hang with that Pottsboro offensive, well, their defensive line too, but the fact that they could hang with Pottsboro somewhat in the trenches was like, okay, they should be able to mull over everybody.
That's a great point, and I think that with Munster, what they did back in week 10 when they beat Collinsville, and they went to Collinsville and they won by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That to me was the real canary in the coal mine. All right, Region 3. So here's the thing. This was going to be really boring. All of us were going to put down Mart and just not think about it because Mart has won this region since time immemorial. They're the number 1 team in the state. Then week 11 happened, and they get beat 46-0, I think it was, by Goldthwaite.
It was shocking.
And we still don't have a good explanation as to why. We have reports that they were playing their starters.
Yeah, everyone that we talked to said they were, in fact, playing the starters.
But that has certainly added some intrigue. I'm willing to give them a 1-week mulligan and just say, okay, they're still a favorite in Region 3. Greg Powers, not so kind.
No, it wasn't only that. I'm a big believer in, a lot of these teams are back cyclical. They're time over time. If there was a little bit of chink in the armor, then you got to get them now, right?
Yes.
So a couple of my picks this year, I went with, if you're not going to get them now, when are you going to be able to knock them off their throne? I don't know that 100% I picked the right team to get them, but I think there's a little bit of weakness there this season.
I think that certainly, you would have to believe that there's been a little bit of exposure there from Mart. Region 4, though, we're all in lockstep. I think we all like Shiner. Shiner has looked the part of the team and dropping down 2A Division 1 down to 2A Division 2. So much so that you like them to win state.
Yeah, and I see Stepp join me on that
Matt
pick.
Stepp going with Shiner as well.
Exactly what you said, just moving down. I mean, they're a stalwart, right?
Their defense is relentless.
I'll tell you what, though. The team that I think could give them a little bit of fit would be Junction.
I agree.
I went back and forth on this one a little bit. Shiner was like my initial thought, and I was like, okay, is that just because I'm always used to picking Shiner in Region 4 to kind of win it? I think that Junction team, if they were to meet up in the regional finals, that would be a really fun matchup.
I think you're right. I think Junction, because they've already beaten Falls City.
Yes.
And they kind of smothered them.
Yes.
I think that Junction would provide a different kind of challenge. I'll tell you who loves Junction, the computer.
Yeah, they've been just blowing people
Junction's
out of the water.
the number 3 team in the state in computers.
They've pitched 3 different shutouts: 76-0, 65-0, and 55-0.
They are rolling.
Somerville worries me for Junction a little bit. I feel like they got maybe the best player in Keith Crawford.
Yeah,
and
he's a stud.
That's why I ended up going with Shiner, because Junction and Somerville will have to play each other in likely the regional semis, so someone's not coming out of there alive.
Junction's on the dirty side of the region, in that they are going to be playing. They have to go through probably Somerville and then Falls City just to get to Shiner. But I like Munster to win state. Pickle and I agree on that. Ish also going with Munster, and then Mallory Hartley going with Groover. Going with Groover, the Greyhounds.
Big Groover gal.
I love it. She's a big Groover gal. That's 2A Division 2. To 2A Division 1 we go.
Absolute chaos.
And
this was painful.
This was fun to do. I went to look at all the different logos.
Wow,
up there,
yeah.
Okay? We'll start with Region 1. Now, I think there are we're evenly split between 2 teams, between 2 district champions, Stanford and Sunray, okay? And in fact, 4 of us have the winner of Region 1 winning state. Pickle, you're going with Stanford.
So I went back and forth, snip, snap
Region
on this
1's the toughest to call.
My heart said Sunray, but my head said Stanford. And I think the reason is I trust the Stanford defense more than I trust the Sunray defense. Okay. I think that would be an all-out shootout between the 2 of them in the regional finals, but I think that Stanford defense has looked stout this year.
Powers and I have the courage to go. To be clear, like Mallory's on your side and Stepp's on your side, so they agree. Powers and I had the courage to go with Sunray. I'm just full send on Sunray. I'm just like, I'd rather be famous than right. You know what I mean? Like,
they have a whole lot of experience underneath their belt this year. Like, it just seems like the table's been set.
Last year.
Yeah,
and even moving up, I think they are like. We talk about Armando Luan. I'll keep banging the drum. They're so much more than just Luan. They're a complete ball club.
If they have the ball last, though, there's...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's the quarterback and the team I want with the chance to win the game, march the field. I'm picking Sunray, and that's why I couldn't pick against them here.
Yeah.
I will say Armando Luan is giving Terry Bussey.
Oh,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like, we've been waiting for it. It's finally senior year. Put your cards out on the table.
Absolutely.
But that defense...
See, I think Region 2 was a...
Region 2
really
Region
all
2's
2A D1 was crazy.
So Region 2...
The biggest shrug emoji.
I did. I just recorded our bracketology videos. And I literally said, I was just like, this is the shrug region. Because I do not think anybody has separated themselves all that much. I went with Hamilton. I feel 25% confident in that. I think Tioga is in that mix. I think Mildred's in that mix. I think Axtell's in that mix. There are 6 or 7 different teams in Region 2 that I could see there. I went with Hamilton. They're 10-0. I think they're rolling right now. I will go with Hamilton. I feel not confident in it. I don't know if anybody feels great about how Region 2
No, for this entire bracket, usually I try to make one bracket my, you know what, let's throw some wild stuff out there, and this was it for me. The only reason I picked Mildred is because I think they got the easier path. I think Hamilton versus Tioga is going to be an all-out brawl in the regional semis, and by that point, those teams are tired. They don't have a lot of depth, so I think Mildred could come out of there. That's the only reason I took Mildred.
See, sometimes I get stuck on like, all right, I'm picking this first round game, and it's a dangerous first round game, right? So either of these two teams could lose. I start to hedge my bets in the later rounds, and then the team that wins that game inherently is like a top tier team that I've lessened throughout the rest of the bracket because they might get beat in the first round.
Region 3, all y'all are on Honeygrove, and I understand it. Honeygrove, good experience under their belt. They played 3 rounds deep, I think, in the playoffs last year. The defense has been stout, and they've got playmakers. They've got playmakers there at Honeygrove. I get it. I'm just gonna go with Wascom. I saw them in person.
Yeah.
I like the pick.
I saw them drill Big Sandy. Nate Espy, Kelton Williams, like they have got Bubba Jones. They got a running back named Bubba.
Yeah.
They have got dogs, and I will tell you, they are fast. And I like Honeygrove. I don't love them so much so that it opened up the opportunity for me to be like, I've seen Wascom. I like them a lot. I think Wade Lawson's got them pointing in the right direction. I'm gonna go with the Wildcats.
Don't sleep on the Vills down there. You got Shelbyville, Beckville, and Centerville down at the bottom. Could one of the Vills come out?
Beckville has reloaded in a hurry. Like we thought they were going to take a huge step back, but kind of like Timpson. Like Timpson loses Terry Bussey, they need to qualify. They need to win their final game to qualify. They took a step back. We thought the same thing was going to happen with Beckville with Jacoby Williams, but not so. They are right back in it.
If Honeygrove and Wascom play in the regional semis, I think that you're going to know within the first 5 minutes of the game, because it's all going to come down to, can Honeygrove's defense stop that slot team?
Totally agree.
Like that's all. Are you quick enough to stop that?
Wascom's known to be that physical team.
They play so fast.
They play with such an edge too. I'm telling you, man, they're fun. Region 4, the Fireworks Factory. Ashley Pickle. The Mason Punchers.
I'm going for it, man. This is one of those things that I just had to practice what I preach. I have been preaching all year long that I just love this Mason team. And so it was like, you know what? Why not? Why not do it? Because Ganado, again, it was the same thing I did in Region 2. Ganado and Refugio, likely to play in the regional semis. They're going to beat the crap out of each other. So then I think Mason is on the far easier side of the bracket, and they're going to walk into the regional finals. So why not the Punchers?
I don't disagree with you. And Mason's been flying under the radar, I think, because there's been so much talk about Refugio. Refugio Powers, you went with Refugio, you and Hartley with Refugio, and I can't fault you for it. And in fact, you got Refugio winning the title. And again, all that makes sense to me.
Yeah, 95-0, 62-0, 72-0, 68-0. Yeah, the points guy inside me. I love offense, right? Especially at this level. So, this is what I'm praying for, potentially a Refugio Sunray state championship game.
Oh my God,
where it's just wheels off, right?
Yeah,
so I went with Refugio. I think they score a lot of points, and they're fun to watch.
Me-ish and Step went with Ganado. Ganado was our preseason number 1. I think that when they've gotten Bryce Ullman, their quarterback, back, they have been a different team. And I think that they are healthy. But I'm going full send on Sunray. I think this is the year. I think they just do it.
You're staying loyal. I like that.
Mallory and Pickle. WTF's going with Stanford. Ish is on me with Sunray because he's a man of class and character.
If Stanford makes it through, I think that'll be the best defense that anybody on the right-hand side of the bracket has seen, and I think defense travels.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, Stanford's win over Hawley last week in Week 11 was impressive.
Yes.
So, absolutely. That's 2A Division 1. We're rolling along here on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Today Playoff Bracket Reveal Show. We will roll on to 3A Division 2. And this is one, I'll give you guys a hint. This is one of two brackets where we all have the same state champ. We all went with Gunner to win state. And I just don't see, to me, the gap between Gunner and everyone else has been wide enough that I just don't see, even though I think this is not as good of a Gunner team as it was last year, but that to me is an unfair bar. You know what I mean? It's a really good Gunner team. I think they're the clear favorite in Region 2. But Region 1 is interesting. Power, all of us are ready to hop off the Canadian bandwagon. All of us are just like, Canadians defense scares us. We're all going with Wall. And here comes Greg Powers.
Wearing the cape.
Who's saying, you know what?
Not so fast. Is it?
Not
so fast. No, it was one of the tougher picks.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
me. I think it's a really tough pick. I flipped a coin. I went with Canadian.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Look, Canadians got the history. They've won this region, I think, 8 of the last 9 years. So if you want to say that when they get to playoff time, they dominate. I just think what Wall's been able to put together from a defensive perspective, I trust their defense more than Canadians' defense.
Yeah, and it'll be wild because, again, we always pencil in Gunner and Canadian every single year, and it's like, well, hold on a second. But yeah, no, I think Wall's defense is going to outshine Canadian. I have been not on the Canadian bandwagon this year.
To Region, we talked about Region 2. Region 3, the Gregs are on Newton. Newton is a team that I think you gotta pay no attention to their record. That is a team that took some losses early, but two things. One, all of them are good losses. Their 3 losses are to West Orange Stark, Jefferson, and then a team from Louisiana. All 3 of them are good losses. They also have a win over Tatum, which has aged extremely well. They got a win over Woodville, which is really good. I think they're playing really good ball right now, and I think the upside, and I wonder if that's where your head was at on this too, Powers, the upside for Newton, I think, is there.
My logic was this. I didn't pick Wascom. I had to pick Newton. So, that's the way it came down to it for me. Those are 2 of the types of teams that I really enjoy watching in the playoffs, that they play a physical brand, they play an attacking style, and that's what's gotten Newton there in the past. And to me, this region's pretty wide open, so I picked the team that I think could be hot right now.
And Pickle, Step, Ish, and Mallory, you've been new Diana pilled.
Yeah, no, we absolutely have. I mean, this was a team that you're looking back a couple years ago, 1-9, 2-8. Last year, they obviously had a complete turnaround season, and almost everybody on that team is back. So you've got the big-time game experience. I think that the difference maker for New Diana is DeJuan Johnson.
Yep.
I think that
He's
the
a dog.
Sophomore quarterback has been incredible. And if they don't make it to the winning the region this year, you better watch out for him next year, because he has been just insane.
The number 1 scoring offense in 3A Division 2 is the new Diana Eagles.
Behind a sophomore quarterback. He's averaging 117 yards of rushing per game. I mean, dual threat, and I think that's why their offense has just completely outpowered everyone.
Next year, Pickle.
Next year. I'm getting ahead of myself.
He's got plenty of time.
And then there's Region 4. Region 4, we're evenly split. Powers, Step, and Hartley, y'all are on Poth. Y'all are going with the Pirates of Poth. I am not letting East Bernard's Week 11 loss sway me. I believe they're still the team to beat there. I'm going to roll with East Bernard there. Pickle, you're along with me. Thank you for your courage. Issues on that as well.
Yeah.
But all of us have Gunner winning state. I will just say this about Gunner. Teams that the teams that have given Gunner trouble have been really athletic teams with athletes on the outside, teams with speed. Franklin comes to mind. When Canadians really athletic, they give them trouble, right? I think there are some teams on there. I think East Bernard could fit in that mix.
For sure.
And I think Newton and New Diana could fit in that mix. So there are teams. I think Poth is a bad matchup for I think Gunner's a bad matchup for Poth.
Yeah.
But I think that the other teams there, if see them in a state championship game, that could give them trouble. If you're trying, I think Gunner's the clear favorite. I want to be clear. But I do think that if you want to say, well, this is the reason why it's not Gunner, that it would be reasons like that of like, I'll also say this, small thing. They're probably getting Wichita Falls City View in the second round.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
That's a good. I mean, it's a good matchup for them in the playoffs. I don't see it this year, but I do agree that there's a roadmap to beat Gunner this year. And I don't know that you can follow the Salina roadmap because obviously that's a punch up for Gunner.
Right.
But that is a roadmap I think that you can approach in this bracket and say, how do we get Gunner? Let's watch that game.
Yeah, which is something that we have not been able to say in a really long time. Just straight up that there is a roadmap to beat Gunner.
Salina and Anna both kind of followed that same path to beat Gunner. So anyway, keep an eye on that one. 3A Division 2. This is the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Today playoff prediction show. Make sure you go to texasfootball.com/playoffs to get all you need for the Texas Football playoffs. Let's now get to maybe the most anticipated bracket?
Fireworks.
381? To 3A Division 1 we go. And a little bit of color here. A lot of changes here. Okay, we'll start with Region 1. Region 1, I do not think anybody has separated themselves from the pack. And I think when you take a look at our predictions, that bears that out. 3 of us are on Bushland. Although Bushland took a loss late in the year, that has me a little spooked. That scares me. They lost in week 10, or they lost in week 9 to Shallow Water. So if you want to go Shallow Water, you're well within your rights. I think they would get them in a rematch. That's a 1-point game on the road at Shallow Water. Neutral site, I would probably give the edge to Bushland. But I think you're within your rights to go with Shallow Water. And then Greg Powers.
Stepping out.
A pedigree play with Jim Ned.
I just think it's wide open in this one. Anybody could win it. I mean,
I do agree.
So,
I agree. Region 2, we're all in lockstep for the most part with Malakoff, the defending state champs, coming off of a big win in week 11 over Winsboro.
That's what sealed it for me.
Looking good. I also think that lays out a more favorable draw for them as a result. Matt Stepp, though, going Jefferson. I'll tell you, the Bulldogs undefeated. That's a team that has been very, very strong. The offense has been absolutely rolling of late, and they came out of they won a very difficult district. Okay, they have wins over Atlanta, Liberty Ilo, Tatum, Newton, and DeKalb. Okay,
if they win the state championship, it's a dangerous path.
Oh yeah.
Too. So I mean, to get to the state championship,
they are battle tested for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that, Malakoff passed their big test. Jefferson has been passing big tests all year long. To Region 3. Okay. So here's Region 3. Almost all of us are on Columbus. Okay? Columbus has the one loss on the year to Hitchcock. You might be wondering, why is nobody picking Hitchcock? They've beaten Columbus. Hitchcock is really banged up right now. Hitchcock, the injuries are what kept me from taking the Bulldogs.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. When Lloyd Jones went out, then it was done. It
really is a heartbreaker for them. I like Columbus. Just the balance they have. I think they've looked complete. Obviously, they have the one loss in the year. Matt Stepp, though, the bold choice of taking the team that's played in the last 4 stinking state championship games in Franklin. Everybody's forgetting about Franklin. But this team, it's because they took a couple of losses early.
There was a bad loss to Salina. I know that's punching up, but that is
drilled by Salina.
Bad loss to Salina.
And then they lost to a private school team in Houston, Legacy, Spring Legacy School of Sports and Sciences. But they're really loaded with prospects.
They also beat Hitchcock.
They also have a win over Hitchcock, right? No, they didn't.
The Legacy School?
Oh, Legacy School. Yeah, they did. I'm sorry. I thought you meant.
Yeah, so, I mean, Legacy is a team
is a legit team.
Beat UIL teams this year.
But I will tell you that they've still got Jaden Jackson. The offense has been absolutely electrifying. They run that kind of slot T style that's very difficult to defend. And for Columbus, I think if you get Columbus and Franklin, which would be a regional final, is that correct? If you get a Columbus-Franklin regional final,
it's going to be
popcorn.
And 2 different styles completely.
Absolutely. And then Region 4, we're all going with Edna. We go to Ashley Pickle, our chief Region 4 correspondent.
I am not having the entire team of Edna in my Instagram DMs again, so I surrendered the white flag.
Okay. But you think Lano can beat him, though, right? Are you not going to say that? You told me that in confidence.
Well,
you said Llano's going to smoke Edna.
So Llano has the more difficult path.
They do. They got put in the dirty side of the region.
They got put in the dirty side of the region. So getting to the regional finals would be good, but they're going to be battle tested getting there. So that can go one of two ways. It can go bad, or it could go where, hey, we've been punched in the mouth and Edna's kind of walked through the playoffs. But no, I think Edna's playing on a different level right now.
Let me ask you a question. Are we all in agreement that it's going to be Region 2 versus Region 3 in the title game?
Yes.
Right? All of us have a Region 2 or Region 3 team winning the title.
Yes.
I think Malakoff Columbus or Malakoff Franklin feels like the most likely state championship game.
I agree.
That feel about right?
yeah.
I'm going with Columbus, but Malakoff has a history of making us look silly. They got QB1 too. Like we talk about Adam Schobel.
Yeah. They've got QB1 and Mike Jones.
Who?
Mike Jones. The defense has looked great again. I think they can score, man.
Yeah, I think there are a number of teams in Region 3 who could win.
I think so.
The championship this year, and to me, Edna's one of the 5 chalkiest regional favorites.
I think absolutely right. I think Edna's the clear favorite in Region 4 of 3A Division 1. So there it is, our 3A Division 1 playoff predictions. You can find those at texasfootball.com/playoffs. You can find everything you need. Everything. I mean, like, if you need like a ride to the airport, you can go to texasfootball.com/playoffs and get it there as well. Coming up here in just a moment, Class 4A, 5A, and if we have time, 6A on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Today playoff prediction special. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
30-yard line, the 20, the 10, touchdown!
Hey DFW residents, get your grocery essentials in minutes, not hours or days, with Wing Drone Delivery. Forget about last-minute trips to the store when you need things like cereal for breakfast before school, medicine for a cold, or snacks for a movie night. Wing's drones get you quick, no-contact delivery in as fast as 15 minutes. Say goodbye to last-minute grocery runs and say hello to more of your valuable time. Sign up today.
Back here on the Texas Football Today playoff prediction. I've been saying bracket reveal
show.
Playoff prediction show.
Done and dusted.
I'm Greg Tepper, Greg Powers, Ashley Pickle. Rolling through our playoff predictions. You can find it at texasfootball.com/playoffs. We're on to 4A and to 4A Division 2, where this is the other place where I think there's unanimity. How about that word? In the state championship pick. All of us have Carthage winning Region 2, and all of us have Carthage winning the state championship. The number 1 team in the state took the loss early to Kilgore, but since then have looked terrific. I think they've figured out what works, which is running the dang ball with KJ Edwards, throwing the ball at Jetzerat, and then more importantly, that defense.
Yeah, Jetzerat was hurt during that Kilgore game too, so I'm not throwing any shade on Kilgore, but
yeah, I think Carthage. Now look, I will say this: Carthage will have to play a regional semifinal against Pleasant Grove, who is playing really well right now for a team that I think is too young to understand they're not supposed to be this good, right? And then they play Gilmer in a regional final, and you discount Gilmer at your own peril. Trust me, I know.
See, that's what solidified Carthage for me too, is the fashion in which they lost last year says Scott Surratt revenge game all over it, which is not the side of the ball you want to be on.
To Region 1, where everyone in this room, plus Mallory Hartley, went with Graham to win Region 1. To me, not just that they beat Brock in Week 10, but the way that they beat Brock in Week 10, quarterback Ty Thompson, and then that defense, to me, solidifies them as the clear favorite in Region 1, my opinion.
Yeah, when you have a player like Ty Thompson who is seasoned, he can sling it like he does. When you can complement that with a good defense, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to beat Graham.
I think so. But it's not unanimous. Ish thinks that Brock gets him in a rematch, potentially, or they get knocked out. But Stepp is going with Glen Rose. Glen Rose is remember, they've won the region, I think, the last 3 years. So, like, they're the team of record in Region 1. So keep an eye on that.
Seminole sneaky in that one?
It's a tough region. Like, I think Graham's the favorite, but, like, it's a tough region there in Region 1. Meanwhile, we talked about Region 2. Over to Region 3. Region 3 were evenly split between 2 teams, even though I think that you could go with as many as 4 teams in this region. 3 of us, myself, Ashley, myself and WTF, Mallory Hartley. And
that's good company
Ashley
to be
Pickle.
in picks with.
I would agree in this instance. Hampshire Finette. I was really impressed with their win over West Orange Stark to finish the year. I think they've got the dude at quarterback in Ty Bryson. I think that they are the team to beat.
Well, I think Chris Augustine gives them a really good balanced attack, too, on the offensive side of the ball.
Totally agree. And then Greg Powers, Matt Stepp, and Ishmael Johnson running it back with Belleville.
Yeah, I just think they're battle-tested this year. You know, they faced a tough schedule. They made it to the AT&T Stadium last year for the championship game. A lot of wins under those guys' belts.
But here's the thing. That is we didn't even mention La Vega, who I think is certainly in the mix to win this region. We didn't even mention a team like West Orange Stark.
Oh yeah.
Who a week ago we would have been talking about as a favorite to win this region. We even talk about a team like Robinson, which I think is dangerous, or Madisonville. This is good
Jasper
region.
Rose up last year in
Absolutely.
the playoffs.
This is a dangerous region. I think really unpredictable. I think it's the deepest region. Region 2, I think, has the best teams, but Region 3, I think, is the deepest region.
I went with Belleville because of the experience. Not only what did they bring on the offensive side of the ball back from what they had last year, but what they have at the defensive front. If those guys are healthy and playing well, it's going to be tough to move the ball on them. They could shut any offense down. Region
4, we are evenly split. So, and I think this is really, the 3 of us are in lockstep. We're going with Wimberley. And I think that the reason, I don't want to speak for you guys. I'll talk about my reasoning. My reasoning is, until somebody beats them in Region 4, you have to pick them. They've just dominated Region 4 for the last 10 million years.
Mine is the fact that they were hurt early on, or they played really well the first couple of games, then they were really hurt, and we watched it completely dive down. The fact that they are back up to full strength, they are just romping people.
Yeah, I
can't pick against them. I mean, it's hard to pick against Wimberley. I mean, to me, I do think there's some challenging games. I mean, a matchup with Cuero is going to be pretty interesting. I think if that game happens, and then Sinton's been playing so well. Yeah, that's like a dream matchup.
Sinton's defense against Cody Stover would be box office stuff.
I'll tell you the quarterback matchup there. Yeah, Tristan Hansen versus Cody Stover. Yeah, would be so much fun to watch there. Wimberley and Sinton, I think, do feel like the clear 2 teams with a potential party crasher in Cuero. But I think that, Sinton and Wimberley, you're well within your rights to take either of them. And then, of course, all of us in lockstep with Carthage as the favorite to win the 4A Division II state championship. So there it is, our 4A Division II predictions here on the Texas Football Today playoff prediction show. I will get it by the end of the show. You can't have me do a long show late night on Saturday and then give it a 24 hours later and be like, let's do a name.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we are. 4A Division 1.
To 4A Division 1 we go. Okay. A lot of chalk here, but also some changes, and some people like me have some courage to be different. Let's start with our state championship picks. All of us here are going with Salina. I think Salina has looked like the most complete team in the state. Plain and simple. I think pound for pound, they look like the most complete team in the state. And what they've been able to do, romping people, running game, quarterback play with Bo Bentley, and that defense, to me, that adds up to the favorite in Region 2, a tough Region 2, but a favorite in Region 2, and a favorite to win the state championship.
They've kept their foot on the gas all season long without letting up. So, I mean, that has been the most impressive thing to me. They show up every week.
Yeah, they absolutely do. We'll bounce over to Region 1. They're the favorite in Region 2. We'll bounce over to Region 1. Region 1, we're all going with Stephenville. They have the loss on the year. It's to an out-of-state team. I think that if Salina hadn't been playing this well, we'd be talking a lot more about Stephenville. Somehow, a one-loss Stephenville team, I think, is somehow under the radar. A part of it is that they have that one loss in the year, but they have been exceptional recently.
Yeah, I think, and then, I mean, you look at the rest of the region, too, and I think maybe you have them going up against a team, like if Lampasas could get hot. Brownwood has been too up and down for me to feel confident in that. That's really what that came down to, is those two teams not necessarily playing as consistent as they usually do. That's what it was like. Okay, Stephenville has at least been one of the only consistent teams in this region.
I agree.
Is Stephenville favored in every game? What's the Stephenville Salina? Would Stephenville be favored? By
Salina
1
would
point?
be Salina, according to the computer. Salina would be a very slight favorite, like a pick'em. It would lean Salina, but it would be a more or less a coin flip type game.
They should be a big favorite then in every game leading
absolutely
up to that.
Totally agree with that. Region 3 is where things get interesting. You two plus Mallory and Stepp go with Kilgore, the Ragin' Red, and I can't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. Kilgore and Stepp's going with Kilgore to win state. My issue with Kilgore is they have been a little inconsistent, and I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to trust them to put together 6 consecutive weeks. Especially, I mean, that loss to Henderson scares me. They lost to Gilmer. When their offense their defense shows up every week, but their offense has been a little flighty. I don't know if I necessarily trust them to get back to play stack 6 games in a row. I went with Pine Tree, which is a team that they lost narrowly to. Pine Tree lost narrowly to Kilgore. It's hard to beat a good team twice. I think Pine Tree's been a little bit more steady, and I think that steadiness may pay off. But of course, Chapel Hill could up and win.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I'm going to disagree with you on your take on Kilgore.
Okay.
I don't think flighty is the right word for their offense after 42, 42, 52, 48. I think that loss to Henderson is exactly what they needed to win this region, because I think other than that, they've been kind of blowing through things. The Gilmer game is always close. I think those are 2 really good teams going at it. I don't know. I think that Henderson game woke them up.
Okay. All right. Maybe you're right. I look at this Region 3, and I think Pine Tree can get them in a low-scoring slugfest in a rematch. Region 4.
Sleeping on Chapel Hill.
If Chapel Hill's healthy, that's the question.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's like the outlier, right?
Yeah,
like
Chapel Hill's
wow.
the question mark, because we know the top-end talent there with Brisbane and Stewart. If they're on the field and they're effective, they're maybe the favorite in Region 3.
They need one. I mean, if one of those guys changes everything.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right.
But the depth is.
And then Region 4, everyone except me is on LBJ, and LBJ has been just molly-whopping teams. Absolutely. I look at Davenport, who is, of course, the reigning regional champion. People forget that. The reigning regional champion, 9-1 on the year. Their one loss on the year is to an undefeated 5A San Antonio Piper. And they have been drilling teams. I think Davenport, I'm going with Davenport. Would they make in the second round or third round?
Third round.
Third round of the playoffs. That would be a terrific game.
You know the team that I'm kind of surprised no one took?
Who's that?
Bay City.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. That bottom half of the bracket, they're in 4A.
They're going to beat up on each other. Bay City, Cal Allen, El Campo.
You get Cal Allen, El Campo in the first round. You want to talk about historic programs duking it out in the first round. But yeah, that bottom half with Bay City, Cal Allen, El Campo. I'd even throw in a team like Taylor, which at times has played really well. It is a really interesting Region 4, but I think LBJ and Davenport, to me, the top half is the power nexus.
I was surprised. I thought this one would be much more varied.
You think so?
Yeah, I really was, because I really struggled in this.
I did too. I ended up going, I ended up kind of zigging when they zag. Y'all are all the chalky people. I don't get it.
Well, I didn't even see. I'm disconnected with it enough that I didn't even know I was being chalky. With that one, because of the district that they're coming out of. I know they were undefeated, but
I think
there's some other teams in this region that have better district schedules, play tougher teams throughout the course of the season, although LBJ's been walloping.
I just think that a lot of the teams in this region are low scoring, kind of that slugfest. They've played a lot of really hard teams. I don't think a lot of these teams have played the caliber of recruits that LBJ has, specifically on the defense and on the outside. Yeah,
it is a fascinating bracket there, 4A Division 1. I like Salina. I think they are battle tested, and I think they've got I think that they are the most complete team in this bracket. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Stephenville win it. If Kilgore can put together 6 weeks, I'm telling you, the upside's there for them to do it. LBJ, Davenport, it's a fun region there in 4A Division 1. This is the Texas Football Today Playoff Prediction Show. Go to texasfootball.com/playoffs. It's right there on your screen. Click there to get your brackets right now, and you can tell us what we're wrong about. Let's roll on. We're into 5A. Now, we talked about 3A Division 1. Here's 5A Division 2, which might be the other bracket that is the most interesting bracket out there. Even just look at the state championship picks. 3 different teams get state championship nods here. Okay? We'll start with Region 1.
Now I don't feel good that we all picked Argyle because I went back and forth on this one.
I know, that's the problem. The problem is that with Argyle, in 4A Division, if you take a look at 4A Division or 5A Division 2 Region 1, they to me look like the safest pick. But like safe doesn't mean guaranteed.
No, because a team like Walnut Grove has been incredible.
Yeah, I mean their one loss in the year is to Lone Star, right? They have a win over Midlothian Heritage, which is a win that's aged very well. They ran through a tough district, but you take a look at, I mean, they're playing Emerson in the first round of the playoff. Emerson was a state semifinalist a year ago. I mean, that bracket is loaded. You add in teams like Anna in that region. Anna and Colleyville Heritage, a huge first round matchup. Lovejoy's playing exceptionally well. I will say this. I think that for Argyle, Walnut Grove is a team that is in that mix as well. Region 1, like this is one of those, it was kind of the first time I've had to say it. Do not mistake unanimity for certainty because we are all on Argyle, but Region 1 looks like a bear.
I bet if you asked everybody who Argyle plays in the regional finals, that you get a very different answer. Because I think Anna's a big test for that game right there is very interesting to me. Both of those teams bumping up this year. Could they both make it to the regional finals? That's what I'm picking.
Yeah, it's a very tough region there in Region 1. Region 2, everyone's been all like this has been in the hubbub around Region 2 has been South Oak Cliff PNG, South Oak Cliff PNG, South Oak Cliff PNG. And for good reason, right? South Oak Cliff, the number 1 team in the state, has looked terrific after some early losses. PNG has been, I don't know, like they feel like last year's PNG in the sense that they are winning, like they're not always winning pretty, but they're winning. The Nederland loss has me worried, but I think that they're the defending state champs, and if you get in a close game, they're going to pull it out. That said, I'm not going with either of them.
Here comes yours.
Folks, it's time to talk about Texas High. The Tigers of Texas High are undefeated. They are romping people. They've got that dude in Tredarian Ball. They are absolutely loaded. They are good offensively. They are good defensively. They have some signature wins, including a win over Argyle Liberty Christian, which is huge. They have a dominating win over Midlothian Heritage. I think this team is ready for prime time. What worries me about the Texas High pick is they will have to go through presumably both PNG and South Oak Cliff to get out of there. And Nederland in the first round of the playoffs, although Nederland has to come to them. But the other thing is Texas High, historically, the past couple of years, they have not played to their paper in the playoffs. Plain and simple. They have gone out a couple of rounds too early. I'm taking a risk here, but I like Texas High to win Region 2.
I wanted to push them in on Texas High too, but it's the playoff history over the last couple of years that scared me away.
That's the thing, and I think that's entirely fair. Region 3. 5 of us are on Richmond Randall. I love this Randall team. I mean, you can look at my state championship pick. I love this Randall team. They have been smoking teams. They have, in my opinion, the best player in the bracket in Landon Williams-Callis. Their running back, he is electrifying, but they are a complete team. Furthermore, when you take a look at Region 3, I think we thought like Liberty Hill was going to be in that mix. I think we thought that it was going to be Liberty Hill and Randall. I think Liberty Hill has fallen back to the pack a little bit. And as a result, I think Randall, with their explosivity, can get them. Ashley Pickle, the Bears of Bastrop.
Yeah, dude.
They won district.
Weston Nielsen, incredible sophomore quarterback, and Keyshawn Moore. They're the difference makers. Yeah. I think that this team, This is my Cinderella pick.
Okay.
I think this has that Gilmer harmony like we've seen in the past year. Paul Pewitt kind of did it a couple of years ago. I think that we have been on the Randall hive all year long, but something about this Bastrop team heating up at the right time, especially with those two playmakers.
I will tell you, the other thing here is that there's two teams we haven't mentioned. One of them is Liberty Hill. When they get in the playoffs, you get 1 week to prepare for the slot T. They are absolutely dangerous and absolutely capable of winning this region and playing at AT&T Stadium. Absolutely. The other team that we haven't mentioned is Iowa Colony. Iowa Colony is a high upside team that gave Richmond Randall their closest game of the year. They would play each other in a regional final if they were to get there.
Ton of athletes on the team.
A lot of athletes. Region 3 is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really interested in that. On to Region 4. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I got to say his name, Jacoby Dixon, Brenham. He could be one of those guys that just takes over.
Brenham's the other team here that is worth mentioning in Region 3. That, again, flying under the radar, they have that dude in Jacoby Dixon. He is that guy. The thing that scares me about Brenham a little bit is that I think their defense can be had. And in a high-octane offensive region, I don't think you can rely on just outscoring people.
A lot of different teams in Region 3.
It is a really, really... And by the way, that first game with Texas City, Texas City Texas City is another super explosive team there in Texas City. It's a fun region.
That's real fun.
For what's so funny is that we thought the P&G moving out of Region 3 was going to bring Region 3 down. It's no, I think it's even more fun.
It made the whole bracket better to me.
It did. Region 4... two of us are on. Tep and Step is on Corpus Christi Miller. I love this offense. I love Justin Evans. I think that this team is ready for their close-up. The rest of y'all went with Alamo Heights, and I have a feeling that a certain number, I think he's number 2. One individual playmaker for Alamo Heights might be the reason. Or number 3, I think he is.
Well, I thought about Bernie.
Yeah?
So, it was a tough pick for me, but Michael Terry and the way that they've been playing, they've impressed me across the board, though. They use Michael Terry in a lot of different ways, but the quarterback over there is pretty solid.
I think so.
And I would say I think their secret weapon is DK Garza because everybody is going to go focus on stopping Michael Terry because you have to. You have to double team him.
Yeah.
DK Garza is that extra little spice that is going to be able to take this team far.
I'm going. Me, Ish, and Mallory are going with Randall. That is a projection play exclusively because you got Pickle and Step are on South Oak Cliff and you're on P&G. If you want to go with playoff pedigree, those are the teams that have the playoff pedigree. They've been on the big stages before. Yeah,
no doubt about it. It's hard. It's hard to pick against Sauk. It really is tough.
Yeah, it's tough. I think Division 5 and Division 2 is going to be wild, absolutely wild, which is why we're so excited about it. TexasFootball.com/playoffs is where you can find everything for the Texas High Football playoffs, including our 5A Division 1 predictions. This is also very interesting because, we'll start with, I think any conversation about 5A Division 1 has to be focused on Aledo. They've earned that 12-time state champions, the number 1 team in 5A Division 1. 5 of the 6 of us have them winning Region 1. 4 of the 5 of 6 of us have them winning state. I will say this as somebody who has them winning Region 1 and has them winning state. If you're going to get Aledo, this feels like the year to get Aledo. This feels like a really good Aledo team, but maybe not up to the caliber of last year, where it was kind of fait accompli that they were going to win 5A D1.
I think it says something, though, that the fact that Aledo has gone to close games this year and still been able to pull it out, because I don't think that that's something that we've ever gone into the playoffs looking at. I think it's always been, if someone could actually get in a dogfight with Aledo, they might lose because they don't know how to fight back. I think they're tested this year, which adds to their kind of mystique.
Yeah, I think so. Matt Stepp going with Ryan in a rematch. An agent of chaos. I'll say this: Ryan played him tight for a half, 2.5 quarters.
Yeah.
They've got the dudes to do it if they can pull it off. I think that would be a little difficult though. It's hard to pick against Aledo. I just think it's hard to pick against Aledo. Region 2.
Here we go.
This was another shrug.
Yeah, it was. I went with Lone Star. I don't feel good about it. Pickle and WTF went. Pickle and Ish also went with Lone Star. Mallory and Pickle, you guys went with Highland Park. that feels real like, I don't know, let's go with the team that's like the winningest team in Texas high school football history.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's exactly what it was. I don't trust Lone Star. Georgetown, I kept going back and forth and back and forth. I think Georgetown's a year early.
Georgetown.
See, I didn't want to miss it.
Georgetown is definitely the sexy pick here.
I think it's a year early, but I didn't want to be a year behind it because I've been saying since the beginning of the season, watch out for Georgetown next year. And then I thought, well, what about if it's this year?
I'll tell you this.
And I've been saying it about next year.
I'll tell you this. For somebody to beat Georgetown, somebody's going to have to slow down Jet Walker. And it's like...
And the speed of Xavier Warren, he can take the top off the defense.
Georgetown,
very well-rounded team.
Georgetown is for real. Capital F, capital R.
Not an easy. All these teams are legit, though.
I know.
This was impossible.
Region 2 was tough.
And that Midlow Lake Belton game in the first round, that's going to be a war.
Region 2 is terrific. Region 3, I think we're all in lockstep that the power nexus is in the Brazos Valley. A&M Consolidated. 5 of you guys will go with A&M Consolidated. I think College Station's going to get them in a rematch. I think if they get, I think they play him in a rematch. That was a tight game.
By the numbers, you would be right.
Exactly right. Like I would just say, like flip a coin. Chances are it's going to come up.
Man, you know what scares me about College Station though? That potential area round matchup against Lufkin.
Yep.
That's what scared me away from College Station because I almost put College Station down, and Lufkin has found something special this year.
I think so. Lufkin. You want to talk about a team peaking at the right time? Lufkin's in that mix as well.
Lufkin, College Station, PA Memorial, Pflugerville. I mean,
I think
Weiss.
They have the tougher schedule. I mean, they have the tougher part of the bracket.
Here's crazy. That first round matchup, Angleton and Weiss is spectacular. There's the other thing we haven't mentioned. You'll notice nobody took Galveston Ball. Galveston Ball, the question is Jonah Williams. Jonah Williams has been injured. We don't know his status. If he comes out and if he comes back and he's effective, then like they are a contender within this region. But for now, I'm not sure you can project him to be available. And so we're going with the Brazos Valley to win Region 3. And then in Region 4. Region 4 is really it's San Antonio and the Coastal Bend with some Rio Grande Valley teams in there as well. I will tell you, PSJ North probably the best threat from the Rio Grande Valley, but all of us, let's see, Mallory and Ish went with Flower Bluff, a team that was looking great.
Good pick, y'all.
Lost their Week 11 game to Corpus Christi Vets in double overtime. That game is obviously huge. Flower Bluff, because of that they go to the third round. The thing that scares me about Flower Bluff is that they would get a second round matchup with
huge game
with Piper. That's the team that I'm on right now.
They're like the cardiac arrest team of the year.
Yeah.
They got the dudes though.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And then Powers, you're going with once again. You're going with an old standby in Smithson Valley, team that played for a title last year.
I'm using Pickle's theory of like Flower Bluff and Piper and all those teams at the top are going to like beat each other up, and then Smithson Valley is going to cruise into the regional finals and be well rested.
That would be a
rematch. They got some tests, but whether it's Flower Bluff to me or Piper, I think that they got a team that could beat either one of those two teams. But I don't feel. I mean, I'm again not very confident.
Well, and they played Piper earlier in the year. Piper ended up winning by only 3, so that's
right.
A good revenge game too in a regional finals of that, like the old adage, it's hard to beat a good team twice type of thing.
I think I'm picking Flower Bluff over Piper though. I know that one's so tough.
It's tough, and for it to be shown up in the second round is
unfair.
But I mean, you look at that for Piper. I mean, it's not exactly easy for them.
Their schedule is great.
They're going to play Flower Bluff, then they're probably playing Corpus Christi Vets, and they're probably playing, Smithson Valley. Shout out maybe Edinburgh Vela, also a threat in this one. But I would say that this is
PSJ North.
PSJ North, yeah. Bottom half of the bracket, I think, is the best chance for a Rio Grande Valley team to get out. And then, of course, you see the state championship picks. 4 of us, Mallory, Ish, myself, and Pickle are on Alito. Powers and Step. Remix.
I would have never expected coming into the season to either think about picking against Carthage or picking against Alito. But if everything's hitting on all cylinders, this is the year to get them, right? Who comes out of that Region 3 or Region 4, can they do it?
It's the Texas Football Today playoff prediction show here live from the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Studios. Hope you'll go to texasfootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. If you want to watch dozens and dozens of live Texas high school football playoff games every week over the next 5 weeks leading up to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, texasfootball.com/subscribe. You can watch all those games on Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming platform. Makes a great gift as well, texasfootball.com/subscribe. I think that's it.
We calling it?
I think you guys want to call it.
Good show.
That's going to do it for okay. I guess we'll talk 6A. To 6A Division 2 we go, where intrigue abounds, with 3 different teams predicted to win state championships. A lot of intrigue here. Everyone's zigging and zagging a little bit. We'll start with Region 1. Region 1 is where you find some unanimity. We're all on South Lake Carroll. Now, I don't know if that makes me sure that South Lake Carroll is going to win, but they have looked the most consistent and the most complete within this region. If you want to pick another team, I think you've got to say, well, Denton Geyer can put it together, and they've got the highest upside. I think of the non-South Lake Carroll teams in 6A Division 2, Region 1, Denton Geyer's got the highest upside.
I think most years you look at what Arlington Bowie has done this season and you're putting them a little bit more on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. But until they get into the playoffs and knock off a team like South Lake Carroll, it's hard to pick something like that, right?
Yeah. And I agree that Geyer would be the next one. The reason I didn't go with Geyer was their offensive inconsistency gives me heartburn.
Yeah, exactly right. Like when they played well, they beat Toledo. You know what I mean? But it hasn't necessarily been consistent. To Region 2, everyone's taking DeSoto. 2-time defending champs. They've been excellent. The offense, absolutely electrifying. The playmakers they've got, they are a lot of fun to watch. Except... Hi.
There we go, Claude. Go ahead and cut this.
I'm going with Willis.
I thought you were calling ISO on the one shot too to
Nope.
No, I'm doing
editorialize.
that.
I've been Willis pilled. I'm in on this team. I think that they have got the defense. I think they've got, amazing to say, the quarterback.
He's fun. He's a fun player.
Jack Emerson. And they have, I think, one of the most electrifying players in Texas high school football in Jermaine Bishop.
He's the most electrifying athlete.
Yes. I think so. He is, and they would see each other in a regional semifinal, right? DeSoto and Willis. I'll just say this. I think the winner of that game is winning state. That's what I'll say.
I agree with you. I also want to give you a little bit of credit. Cover your ears, Ashley. Mm-hmm. Because you were able to pick Texas High and Willis. Those were the 2 teams that
you struggled with?
That I really struggled with, because I agree with you. I think the winner of the DeSoto Willis game wins the whole thing here.
Yeah, I think so. I think DeSoto Willis is in a regional semifinal would be box office. And I think I trust Willis's defense a little bit more. I think that the offenses are going to do what the offenses do, okay? The offenses are terrific. But I think that in a track meet, I think I trust Willis's defense just a little bit more.
I'm going to give the slight edge to DeSoto's offense and the slight edge to Willis's defense.
Yeah.
Both of them mash up front on the offensive line.
I know. That's going to be, to me, that's my thing, is like whoever wins that regional semifinal matchup between DeSoto and Willis, I think would be the favorite to win the state championship. To Region 3, where all of us, everyone in lockstep, believes that Summer Creek is going to win the Region 3. They've, of course, played for a state championship last year. Their 2 losses are to North Shore and Atascocita. I don't know why anybody would ever pick against Summer Creek. We go live to Greg Powers on why he picked against Summer Creek. Katie Jordan!
Yeah, I think Katie Jordan has the most explosive playmaker in this Region 3 with Andrew Marsh. They've had a really tough schedule this year. Summer Creek has to beat Hightower and Katie Jordan to go through. I mean, it's hard picking against Summer Creek, right? But if there's a year to pick Katie Jordan, a school not named the Katy Tigers, to advance far in the playoffs, this is the year, I think. They've had a really good year, but Hightower, Jordan, and Summer Creek, I mean, I'm happy with any of those 3 I think could come out.
Region 4, for me, is like the headline is, can San Antonio finally get over the Austin area hump, right? Can they do it? Cibolo Steel looks like they have the pieces. And the good thing is that they will not see, in my mind, the super-duper upper crust Austin teams, right? The Lake Travis and Westlake specifically. But Vandergrift is not to be trifled with. They had that one loss to Dripping Springs, I think, in week 1. Mm-hmm. And then they've rattled off 9 straight and kind of looked like Vandergrift of old.
It's a tale of 2 teams, I think, in that why I picked Vandergrift over Steele was that I took the team that I thought was more battle-tested in the trenches versus the team that has the most weapons. Steele could easily win this game. They are so much fun with Jalen Cooper and Royal Capel and Jonathan Hatton and Chad Warner. They got a lot of pieces to the puzzle on that Steele team.
I think that it is. I think it's a lot of fun. And Seal has got playmakers, but Vandegrift, I mean, again, there's just the bugaboo of like Austin. Austin had San Antonio's number. Stepp and Hartley are going with Southlake Carroll to win the title.
Yeah, I almost did.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That was the biggest debate that I had in my mind. I just felt like we haven't seen Southlake get over that DeSoto hump, and that's a tall task.
I'm full send on Willis, plain and simple. And then Ish, Pickle, and Powers think that DeSoto will three-peat. So there's our state championship predictions for 6A Division II. That's a bracket that gave me heartburn. But I don't know. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And what I also love about Region 3, to go back to that, in the past, Region 3 has been, it's whoever's left over from 6A Division I. I think there's legitimate depth and strength in Division 2 of Region 3 of Division 2 this year, which is not always the case. We will round it all out with 6A Division I. This one is much more chalky until you get to the title games. Start with Region 1. All of us have North Crowley. They, to me, are I don't know if I would go prohibitive favorite to win Region 1, but I think they are a clear favorite. And the team that I think is best suited to beat them is the team they might see in a state semi or regional final, which would be Allen. And the way that Allen plays, their defense has been lights out. I just think the weaponry for North Crowley is overwhelming.
I agree with that. I think Capel could give them a really good game as well if we get that matchup. Of course, Capel has a very tough first-round game against Prosper. Trinity is when a Trinity team has what they have up front and a great running back, Trinity is like a scary playoff team, right? Because if those things are firing on all cylinders, it's just something that you can't stop. Now, they give up a lot of points on defense throughout the course of the season. So
all of us are on Duncanville in Region 2. It does. I don't feel like. I think Duncanville is, to me, a clear favorite in Region 2. I look at Region 2, and I'm struggling to come up with a team that could really challenge them. It might be a team like Bridgeland.
Or the Woodlands, if everything is firing. Right?
I think that was the easiest pick to make out of this bracket. We don't need to spruce it up.
I think Duncanville is the clear favorite in Region 2. Region 3. Again, we're all going North Shore with the exception of one. We'll get to that dude in a moment. We're all going with North Shore. I think we were all really impressed with what they did to Summer Creek in Week 11. And obviously they beat Atascocita. Stepp is going with Atascocita in a rematch. I think he's well within their rights. I think there's an argument to be made that of the 48 minutes of that game, they were the better team for 26 of them. You know what I mean? You can get them. That said, I think you saw the North Shore defense and what they're capable of, and when that offense starts to hum, they are dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Now, their path, North Shore would have to go Deer Park in round 1, Ridge Point in round 2. It's a good Ridge Point team, an athletic Ridge Point team. Katy in round 3, and then potentially Atascocita in round 4. That's if Atascocita, by the way, gets past Dickinson in the first round.
Right, that's a tremendous first round game. I always think about this like looking through the D1 and D2. Like if you put Ridge Point and D2, Region 3, are they the favorite?
Yeah. I think they would.
They're one of them.
I think they would be on par with Summer Creek. Plain and simple. They would be on that short list.
It's a dangerous team. It's a dangerous path for North Shore this year, and they've shown that they've sometimes been irresponsible with the ball on the offensive side, but it's tough to pick against in playoff time, I can tell you that.
Totally agree. And then Region 4, we are unanimous in Westlake. To me, it comes down to Westlake or Lake Travis, plain and simple. I'd love to dream on a San Antonio team. I just don't see it. And Westlake's already beaten Lake Travis relatively handily.
Yeah, between Reese Wise on the offensive side and then their stout defense,
I agree.
It's too hard.
And so, for state championships, Mallory, Ishmael, and Powers, the three-peat for Duncanville. Other than that, Keelan Russell.
Yeah, Keelan Russell, DeCorian Moore. I mean, this should be one of the most loaded. They don't have Caden Durham this year, but, I mean, they've let the offense loose.
Yep, they absolutely have.
You never thought you'd say that about Reginald Staples' coach team, right? Like they're airing it out.
Pickle, North Shore.
What I saw from their defense has been enticing to me, because that was the issue last year in the game. Duncanville still had all those same parts that they have this year. They were operating just as good last year as they are this year. I think this North Shore defense has taken a massive step forward, and I think that their offense is a little bit more versatile and set in than it was last year.
Steps going with the Atascocita, because I presume he thinks that they beat North Shore in a rematch, or North Shore doesn't get there, and Atascocita. I mean, look, Carde Mack, Torrey Blaylock, they've got the dudes, plain and simple. My worry on Atascocita is I worry if they've gotten worn down. They played a brutal schedule. And I wonder if they've gotten worn down and they're going to be ready for a 6-week march.
I worry about them because they have a dependency on one or two players that really makes them go. And if something happens to one of those one or two players.
And then I'm going with North Crowley. I'm just full send on North Crowley. I think that the playmakers they've got, I think that the offense, I think that they are going to be able to score on basically anybody. I think you're looking at a North Crowley North Shore title game, which would be, oh my gosh, so much fun.
They have that one player that has, there's always sometimes that one player that comes on his senior year and does all this miraculous stuff. Well, that one player for this season is Quentin Gibson.
I agree. And between him, Chris Jemerson, they're loaded for bear. And I think I like North Crowley to win it. But 6A Division I, I will say this. In past years, it's felt like fait accompli that we were going to get North Shore Duncanville, North Shore Duncanville, North Shore Duncanville.
It does feel more open.
We still might. I want to be very clear. There's a good chance we do. But it feels like there's a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more chaos potentially.
I'm picking Westlake, so.
You think Westlake's going to beat North Shore?
I mean, if Atascocita doesn't beat North Shore or Katy doesn't beat North Shore, I think it's a perilous road, and I think Westlake,
I will say this.
Westlake's going to be ready for that game
If North Shore can win this if North Shore wins the title, like think about the road they would have to pass. It would be like Deer Park, Ridge Point, Katy, Atascocita a second time, Westlake, and then North Crowley or Duncanville. Like, you want to talk about earning a title, they would absolutely have done that. Other than that, we haven't done a whole lot of thinking about the Texas High School Football Playoffs. So we've been kind of just sitting around. Not a whole lot.
Let's go ahead and make some more brackets up. Let's make some more graphics today.
Please, God, no. Please let me sleep. Please let Pickle sleep. Jesus. Do you have any final thoughts, Pickle?
TexasFootball.com/playoffs, your home for the 2024 Texas High School Football Playoffs. We've got everything that you can need on there, so go check that out. And then, as Tepper mentioned, we've got live Texas High School football and Texas high school volleyball happening on Dave Campbell's Texan Live, so make sure to tune into that.
Go do it, TexasFootball.com/playoffs. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. For Ashley Pickle and Greg Powers, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. Throw that piece of paper at the camera. Oh, we'll see you Thursday on Texas Football Today.
Don't hit my cameras.